Week 23 of the fantasy basketball season, and with the championship in most fantasy leagues, here's a few guards I looked at this week. First guy, Miles McBride of the New York Knicks. So Miles McBride, he's been a good mainstay for this Knicks team since the NBA trade deadline, where they traded a few guys away, and McBride signed that extension. And now looking back at it, it was a cheap deal for the New York Knicks. McBride only signing 3 years, $13 million. So on the season, 7.9 points a game, 1.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 1.5 threes, and 45% from the field. But the last few weeks, 19.1 points a game, 2.9 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 1.7 steals, 4 threes, and 50% from the field. Scoring, 3-point shooting, and assists, he's going to give fantasy owners. And coming up this week, he's got 4 games as well, which is always a plus. March 27th at Toronto, 29 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, a steal, 9 threes, 58% from the field. March 29th versus Spurs, 7 points, 2 boards, 3 assists, 4 steals, a 3, 33% from the field. And March 31st versus the Thunder, 19 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 threes, 40% from the field. So right now, Miles McBride, he's playing great basketball. He's playing tons of minutes with all the injuries with Randall, OG Anunoby banged up for this Knicks team, 40-plus minutes. And once again this week, surprising to me, he's out there in 56% of fantasy leagues, and he's definitely an ad this week. Next ad, Keon Ellis of the Sacramento Kings. So Keon Ellis, he was a G Leaguer, but came out of nowhere for the Sacramento King team, and he's been putting up good numbers for the last month of the year. On the year, 4.6 points a game, 1.9 rebounds, 1.4 assists, a 3, and 45% from the field. But the last couple weeks, 8.5 points a game, 4.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1.5 steals, a block, 1.8 threes, and 47% from the field. So he really could give fantasy owners 4 or 5 categories. He's not going to score the basketball at a high rate, but a decent field goal percentage, assist, he'll get you a few steals and blocks. And right now, he's out there as well. He's still in tons of fantasy leagues at 67% of leagues. So March 26th versus Dallas, 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a 3, 80% from the field. March 29th versus Dallas, 16 points, 6 boards and assists, 3 steals, 4 threes, 41% from the field. And March 31st versus Jazz in a blowout victory, 5 points, 8 boards, 3 assists, a steal, a 3, 25% from the field. So like I said, he's not much of a scorer of the basketball, but these other categories he could bring to fantasy owners for the most part is Keon Ellis, and he's getting good minutes as well for this King team, anywhere from 30 to 40-minute range, it seems like, over the last couple weeks. And he's definitely a good ad off the wire this week. The next guard, Max Strus of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Max Strus, it was a nice off-season signing, leaving the Miami Heat and going to Cleveland. And we know his specialty is 3-point shooting is Max Strus. On the year, 12.3 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 2.4 threes, and 42% from the field. So right now, he's available, not in many leagues, 54%, but he's hitting that 3 ball. He's getting about 25 minutes per game for this Cleveland Cavalier team after he missed tons of ball games. Since March 5th, he's been out, but he returned in March 27th to the Hornets, 19 points, 4 boards, 2 steals, 5 threes, 53% from the field. March 29th versus Philly, 15 points, a board, 3 assists, a steal, 2 threes, 66% from the field. And March 31st at Denver, 9 points, 2 boards, 2 assists, 2 steals, a 3, 60% from the field. So he's playing about 27 minutes a game since the return is Strus. 3-point shooting and steals is what he's going to bring fantasy owners for the most part here. And this Cav team, a nice contract, so he's definitely going to get the playing time. And they want him to play back into shape as well with the playoffs right around the corner. So Max Strus, definitely a good ad this week off the wire. The next is Vasilije Micić of the Charlotte Hornets. So LaMelo Ball, we know he's most likely not going to come back this season. And Micić, a guy they traded for in a throw-in deal, he was in the Gordon Hayward deal. And he's played well for this Charlotte Hornet team this season since I got him at the deadline. On the year, 6.8 points a game, 1.4 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 43% from the field. But the last couple weeks, 10.2 points a game, 2.3 rebounds, 7.3 assists, a steal, 1 3, 42% from the field. And going back to the last month, 13.4 points a game, 2.6 boards, 6.4 assists, a steal, 1.2 threes, and 47% from the field. So steals, assists, and 3-point shooting is what Micic's going to bring fantasy owners, and he's playing about 35 minutes a game. March 27th versus Cleveland, 11 points, a rebound, 12 assists, 2 steals, a 3, 45% from the field. March 9th versus the Warriors, 10 points, 2 boards, 8 assists, 2 steals, a 3, 42% from the field. On March 31st, versus the Clippers, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists, a steal, 2 threes, 28% from the field. So the last 3 games alone, 33 assists from Micic, and that's a big category. He could get fantasy owners and help in a big way. So right now, well, he's playing major minutes, and like I said, LaMelo Ball most likely out for the season here. Micic, he's still available right now. Tons of fantasy leagues. Fifth and final guard I looked at off the wire this week is Corey Kispert of the Washington Wizards. So Corey Kispert, it's been an up and down few years for him with Washington. It seems like early in the season, he don't do much where he didn't get a lot of playing time. And then towards the end of the year with the Wizards, they've been out of it early for the last couple seasons. He gets his playing time, and we know he's a three-point catch-and-shoot shooter on the year, 12.8 points a game, 2.7 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 2.2 threes, and 48% from the field. But the last couple weeks, 17 points a game, 4 rebounds, 1.6 assists, 2.9 threes, and 50% from the field. So if you need just pure three-point shooting, that's what Kispert's going to bring fantasy owners, and he don't really do anything else in other categories. March 27th versus Brooklyn, 15 points, 2 boards, 2 threes, 40% from the field. March 29th versus the Detroit Pistons, 23 points, 6 boards, 5 threes, 75% from the field. And March 31st versus the Heat, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, a 3, 38% from the field. So also as well, he's got 4 games coming up this week. He's available in tons of fantasy leagues in 68%. And like I said, if you need that 3-ball, Kispert's going to bring it to owners. So that's a few guards I looked at off the wire with most championship games happening here in week 23 of the fantasy basketball season.